Brothers and sisters, right now in Gaza, families are going to bed hungry. Parents, desperate and helpless, watch their little ones suffer. But you can make a difference. With just a small donation, you can provide life-saving food to those in desperate need.
Ramadan Mubarak to all the brothers and sisters supporting Sense Islam with charity rides. We are here in Jabalia in northern Gaza. These children receive meals for an entire year. Together, we are fighting hunger. And let's keep this mission alive, and please continue supporting us during this blessed month. And thank you.
For Ramadan 2025, Sense Islam has teamed up with Charity Right. Charity Right's work in Gaza is a lifeline providing food packs and hot meals to children and families. Donate now, be their hope. Link in the description box below. Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters, I hope you are well. While fasting, one is not permitted to lie. Yet, because Andrew Tate is still classified as a new revert, it appears that he is unaware of this fundamental fact of fasting. He is once again spewing lies against his Muslim community, just as he did during the Southport incident in London last year.
Guess what I saw in the car on the way here? A terror attack in Germany. A car attack. You see it?
Yep, this morning.
A Muslim ran over a bunch of white people in Germany.
This clip is from PBD podcast featuring Andrew Tate as a guest. In it, Tate discusses news he came across the very morning regarding a Muslim individual who attacked innocent pedestrians in Germany with his vehicle, resulting in the tragic loss of 2 lives. Now, the fact that he stressed the word Muslim leads one to believe that Andrew knows everything about the incident and has confirmed the identity of the assailant, which is why he announced it on the podcast with millions of subscribers and listeners. However, what Andrew said during the live broadcast turned out to be a complete lie. The individual arrested by the German authorities was neither a Muslim, nor an illegal immigrant, nor a legal migrant. He was a 40-year-old Christian German citizen who appeared to be experiencing mental health challenges. However, the individual who attempted to obstruct his vehicle to prevent further harm to innocent people was certainly a cab driver of Muslim heritage with Pakistani roots. Andrew Tate is doing the same thing again that he did when an attacker had attacked teenage girls in London. Then too, he had clearly stated with full confidence that the perpetrator might be a Muslim illegal migrant, while the true identity of the perpetrator was that he was a Christian who was a legal citizen of the UK. Still, the false statement of his had landed hate crimes and discrimination against the Muslims. Now again, Andrew is blaming the Muslims for what they didn't do, not realizing that this lie of his can again lead to hate crimes and discrimination against the Muslims all across Germany. In the podcast, it appeared in several instances that Andrew is trying to showcase his image as someone who is somewhat in the middle between Israel and Palestine. He carefully crafted his words to demonstrate his support for Palestine while also not blaming it on the Jews. When he was asked if he supported Trump for being pro-Israel, he did not give any definitive answer, but tried to show that he is not totally against him or all pro-Israel, but also did not deny entirely that he supported Palestine.
So Trump has been very pro-Israel, and so he's been very pro-Bibi.
Correct.
And matter-of-factly, Tate, so do you think he's wrong on that, being so supportive of Israel?
You know, this whole Jewish question thing is actually an interesting one. I'm going to talk about this. Right. So this, you know, it's actually kind of frustrating for me because when I came out of jail, I did Piers Morgan, and I told Piers that what was happening in Gaza was a massacre. And this was on like October 9th, like 2 days after.
You said genocide.
Genocide. I said it was unfair what was happening. This was before it became like widespread. This was only a couple days after. And I was told not to say that. That's going to get you in a lot of trouble. But that's what I believed, so I said it at the time. And there's a lot of people online who are fervently anti-Jew and are very anti-Semitic. And I know who these people are. And you know these people are, a lot of them. Sometimes,
Kanye West.
Yeah, well, so no, sometimes they have a point of view, and sometimes they just go way too far with it. So I think this whole argument is kind of two-pronged. The first prong is that there are people in the world who blame the Jews for absolutely everything, and that is pathetic. And these people think that they worked out the secret of the world and they're based, and they blame Jewish people for everything.
Patrick Bet-David posed a question to Andrew after presenting some facts about the UK that appeared to disturb him significantly. These facts included Muhammad being the most common name in the UK and the trend of prisoners converting to Islam. He then inquired about Andrew's perspective as a Muslim regarding the notion that the UK, once great, is now in decline, seemingly attempted to connect the rise of Islam to this perceived decline. In response, Andrew acknowledged that the UK faces an issue with Islamic immigration. He pointed out that many stabbings in the UK are not committed by Muslims but rather by Christians. Furthermore, he confirmed that the perpetrator of the Southport attack was in fact a Christian UK citizen. However, by making this statement, he once again lambasted Muslims, asserting that the Islamization of the UK is indeed concerning.
I look at stats. 2023, the top name, the number one name in UK, London, is Muhammad.
Correct.
Okay. That wasn't the case when you grew up. That was not the case.
It's true.
When you look at stats, 27% of prisoners in London jail are Muslims.
Yep.
A once great nation, based on what you're saying.
Yep.
A once 200 years ago, the strongest man, what they produced, who they defended.
Yep.
They were not afraid of going up against the scariest people that everybody feared. They stood up and said, "You're not going to do it here."
Yep.
You've been a Muslim now for what, 2 years? I want to say 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. How much do you link that to the issues that UK is facing?
So the UK does have a problem where a lot of the culture is being eroded, and it's being eroded by an Islamic immigration. And this is going to make Muslims mad when I say it, but I understand why the native Brits feel threatened by that and are unhappy with that. When you talk about crime statistics, it's difficult because you can do the same thing with black people in the United States. But black people are a part of the United States. It's seen as racist to say that there are a lower percentage of the population, but they commit more of the crime. But you can do the same with black people in the United States. But black people live here, and they're always going to live here. I like to be ultra realistic about all things. And I like the idea of Britain retaining its culture and feeling like England. A lot of the stabbing that happens in the UK isn't from Muslims particularly. It's actually from Christians from Africa. A lot of it's third worlders. A lot of it's black youths inside of London who do most of the stabbing, the majority of it. So I think we have a huge disconnect here that we have to discuss. And the disconnect is third world versus first world and attaching Islam to the third world. And in some cases that is true, but there are first world Islamic nations which are much safer than any Western nation. So you have a lot of third world Christians which are coming in, committing heinous crimes. The Southport killer, he was from Rwanda, I believe he's a Christian family, and he killed 4 or 5 little girls, stabbed them to death recently. That's what caused all the riots.
Rudy Kabena, the guy from the Taylor Swift concert.
Correct.
But his father was from Rwanda, but his father had some crazy stuff. He had Al-Qaeda training.
That's right. But there's a whole bunch of Christians who are people coming from the third world which are committing crimes as well. I'll be honest with you, it's actually interesting when we attach Islam to these things. If you go to the UAE or Qatar or Bahrain, these countries have extremely strict immigration policies.
Overall, it looks like Andrew Tate was trying to play it safe by not disagreeing with what Patrick was saying and blaming Islam here and there, so that they, along with Islamophobes and supremacists, would be happy with him. He also wasn't completely criticizing Islam so that he could still be called a Muslim and the Muslim community wouldn't reject him. Ironically, he was the same person who used to say that he wasn't afraid of anyone and spoke what his heart desired. But now that he needs to please the British public so that his hopes of becoming the next UK Prime Minister don't die, he has begun to try to present himself in a more moderate way to protect his reputation, avoid legal troubles, and pursue personal gain. It appears that Andrew is willing to unjustly accuse Muslims of attacks they did not perpetrate, as evidenced by his comments on the car attack in Germany and the Southport attack in London. Only Allah knows his true thoughts about Islam and Muslims. Does he genuinely care about the UK's immigration problem, or is he merely pretending for political gains? What do you think about Andrew Tate's recent statements in this podcast? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all to the straight path. Ameen.